Boker Tov. We had a little bit of a break from Yonah, so we're back to Yonah and Bezrat Hashem on pace of finishing it before Yom Kippur, Bezrat Hashem. So we are in Perek Gimel Pasuk Hey. We are in the part of the story where Yonah has been spit out by the fish. He has now gone to the city of Ninveh, and he's fulfilling Hashem's will by telling them to do Teshuva. And he walks in the city. This is the last pasuk. He is a third into the city, and he's announcing, in 40 days, Ninveh is going to be turned over. In 40 days, Ninveh is going to be turned over unless you do Teshuvah. And the pasuk here says, Vayaminu anshe Ninveh belokim. The people of Ninveh believed Hashem. It doesn't say they believed Yonah. They believed Hashem. Obviously, Yonah was coming in the name of Hashem, and they believed it. Vayikreu tzom, and they called and announced, guys, we have to fast. Vayilbeshu sakim, and they wore sackcloth. They wore clothing of like poverty, of humility, and clothing of which also they used to wear when they were in Avelut. Migedolam ve'ad ketanam. The elders and even the children all were fasting and all dressed in this type of clothing. They believed in Yonah, Vayaminu Belokim, says the Sforno. They also believed that if they would do Teshuvah, then this decree would leave them. We know we have the famous pasuk, Vayaminu Ba'Hashem u'b'Moshe Avdo. That's Bnei Israel. When they come out of the Kriyat Yam Suf, they see the Egyptians dead on the banks of the water, and they believed in Hashem. Says that the Bala Turim, there's only one other time where it says Vayaminu in all of Tanakh, and that's here. Vayaminu anshe Ninveh. What's the connection? He brings the Midrash, unbelievable. That when the firstborn died, there was one firstborn that didn't die. Who was it? Paro. Who said it? Paro. Chazaku Baruch. Paro didn't die in the Makat Bechor. Paro didn't die. So, but he saw destruction. Everybody died, and the Jews left and everything like that. Says the Midrash, he left Mitzrayim and he went to be a king where? In Ninveh. He went to be a king in Ninveh. So now Yonah, who's a Jew, he comes and says, guys, God says, please destroy. Paro learned his lesson. He said, okay, everybody, let's go, let's fast, and let's do Teshuvah, because we don't want to mess with the Jews again. So that's what the Midrash says. That's the connection of Vayaminu. Shenizkar le'masherah b'Mitzrayim. He remembered what happened in Egypt and what happened in the Yam, and that's why they believed in HaKadosh Baruch Hu at this point. The next pasuk, which is talks now with the king. Vayigad davar el melech Ninveh. The words came to the king of Ninveh. The message of Yonah and what the people were doing came to the king of Ninveh. Vayakom mekiso. He got up from his chair. Vayaver adarto me'alav. He removed adarto. Aderet is like the clothing of royalty. He removed it from him. Vaychas sak, and he covered himself in sackcloth. Vayeshev al efer, and he sat on the floor on ashes. So also a sign of Teshuvah. Also the Pesukim here, it's interesting that it goes kind of out of order. It should say maybe the king listened first and then the people. Here it says once Yonah was announcing it, the people accepted it right away. They didn't wait to see what the king's going to do and then we're going to follow suit. Like the people right away knew, okay, we got to do Teshuvah. They knew that they had issues that they had to do Teshuvah with, and therefore they right away, and then the king also, he took off his clothing and he sat on ash. The Malbim over here says this point that they went very, very fast. Also, the Gaon Mevilna says, he has a whole cheshbon, that on this time when when the people accepted on themselves to do a fast, it was during Aseret Yemet Teshuvah, during this fast. And the Gaon Mevilna explains as follows, an unbelievable thing that we learn from this message of Teshuvah. He says that because he connects this all to a human being and a neshama, and he says that when a person is a Bal Ga'ava, he's haughty, he thinks he's above others, it's very hard to do Teshuvah. How do you do Teshuvah? You have to put yourself down and be humble and have humility. He says, we learn from this king of Ninveh. He took off his royal clothing. Maybe do Teshuva with your same clothing on. Why do you have to take off your royal clothing? No, he has to be humble. They have to put on sackcloth. They have to feel low and recognize that their actions caused them and put them into this low position. And therefore, from that point, they could do Teshuva, and they could really be a kli of humility and humbleness to do proper Teshuva. So we learn from here that being haughty and gava doesn't work with Teshuva. We have to be humble. We have to recognize that we sin and put our heads down and recognize, you know what, I'm not perfect, and I have to do Teshuva, etc. And that's going to help us, B'ezrat Hashem, do the final full Teshuva, so we can be zocheh to the Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mehera v'yamenu. Amen. ברוך ה' לעולם, אמן. ומרבי חנן אשר אומר רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל לפי חיבור אדם תרמוסו, שנאמר אדוני חפץ למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר.